you see so much inspiration behind, some of the other games that you've grown up with, and they're really great to see.
Yeah, thank you. Well, now
Yeah.
Ken has, so I told you we had it on so many platforms, and now Ken has said, well, we need to make it multiplayer.
Oh,
So
that would be fun.
he's got me working on that. I have them, well, that's okay. I had the map for it, but just to show you, it has one page and the whole game is right on there, and that's the way I work. I just look at it and can see the whole game, but yeah, I think it can be made multiplayer, not massively multiplayer, but like board game multiplayer,
Yeah.
up to like 4 people, because it doesn't have a super strong story. Not like, most of the games that I worked with, especially as I went along,
Hmm.
and it has a story. I've been big on and having story in my adventure games. And with the pinnacle, I think, of storytelling was Phantasmagoria.
Oh, I love
But
Phantasmagoria.
yeah, that was very, very, very storytelling in a lot. That's very much so. But but Colossal Cave is not so much a story, that's a linear story, although it has a lot in it that is fantasy, and it feels kind of like you're in a story.
Yeah.
You're in a world that you're definitely in a fantasy world, and you're exploring, and there's magic and mystery, and there's some danger. But since it's not really linear. Most adventure games that are interactive fiction type adventure games they really are linear. It doesn't necessarily feel that way when you're playing them, because you feel like you have the ability to explore and go
Yeah.
where you want to a certain extent.
Right.
But there is a story behind them that gets, as I said, as we and at Sarah did more of them, they became more story oriented. But you eventually have to bring the player back. You let them explore and figure some stuff out on their own, and gather some items, and see where they are, and maybe map their way or whatever. But you eventually have to get them back to the story. You
Yeah.
have to bring them back, and then you let them explore some more, and then you have to bring them back. And that's the way you allow exploration, and then bring them back too for the story. But I had thought many times over the years about how to take the adventure games as we always did them, and make them multiplayer. And I could never think how to do that, because of the fact that they're story oriented, and you have to always bring them back to the story. And I could not see how you could have more than one person playing them, because the other person playing would be playing differently than you. And it's like, I just don't know how to bring them back. So Colossal Cave gives me the chance to see if I can, since it's not that story oriented,
Yeah.
and you can go wherever you want in this game. There's no rules about where you can go. You can go any direction you want and come back, and you can replay it differently. Each time you go and you come back. So it's a really open world like that,
Yeah.
which for me sounds like you could do that, and have up to 4 people, and you go as a team, or you could go through it, and one person is the host who owns the game,
Yeah.
and then invites their friends or family to come in and play on their computer or in their home, and but the host is kind of like the kind of like, when on teams you've got the host,
Yeah.
and who kind of controls things a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit like the dungeon master, if you will, and
Yeah,
everyone else just kind of
exactly.
comes in, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Kind of like that. Or kind of like, or also another way you could look at it is kind of like if you go into an escape room, a real escape room,
Yeah.
at a, in a strip mall somewhere, and you're with your friends, and you go through as a team of a certain number, and you generally find that some of you like to stick together, others will want to go ahead, and there's others. There's always one person that wants to take control and start saying, "You do this, you go over there."
Yeah. We've all experienced that. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Or whatever. So right now I'm thinking in terms of escape rooms, or Dungeons and Dragons, where there is somebody, the host, the person who owns the game, is kind of in charge to a certain extent. Maybe gives, you go and you try to get, you find maze all alike in Colossal Cave, and you get through it and figure it out for us. For the rest
That's really neat. That's such a great idea. Yeah.
You go here, and and come back, and we can exchange inventory objects by dropping them for somebody, but we can chat and talk in between.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a first person game. That's the way Colossal Cave is.
Yeah.
And so you never see yourself. And the area where I'm stuck on is, well, do we see your friends?
Yeah, how do you see the person, right?
Yeah, right. So I'm still thinking about that one.
That's great. I mean,
this is preliminary. This is very preliminary.
Yeah, it almost feels like a little bit like Clue, like who's going to play Colonel Mustard, who's going to play, Mrs. Peacock. Yeah.
That's right.
Which could be very, very fun of an idea.
So that might be something we come out with maybe later this year.